The passing of Queen Elizabeth II marked an end to an epoch, a reign that spanned nearly a century, defined by steadfast duty, sacred tradition, and unparalleled public devotion. Her solemn farewell united a nation in shared grief and reflection. Yet, beneath the sea of black veils, public eulogies, and carefully orchestrated ceremonies, a storm brews, a storm born of secrecy, suspicion, and a vault sealed so tightly it threatens the very core of the House of Windsor. Sealed for a century, the Wall of Silence. Unlike any ordinary citizen, the late Queen's final will and testament was immediately locked behind closed courtroom doors, sealed with legal rigor for a duration set to span at least 90 years. Parliament, the media, and even many within her own family find themselves barred from its contents. Officially, this unprecedented secrecy is justified as a necessity to protect the dignity of the monarchy and shield the nation from speculative spectacle. But sources within the palace reveal a more unsettling truth. This fortress of silence serves to obscure untold rivalries, explosive bequests, and long-standing scandals whose exposure could irrevocably shake royal foundations. As each news cycle churns, waves of calls for transparency rise, yet royal legal teams escalate their defenses, silencing leaks with aggressive threats, wielding ruinous lawsuits even against high-ranking insiders. The palace legal fortress surrounds the will as if it were the crown itself, intangible, unyielding, and dangerous to touch. The fortune that nobody can fully map. Public estimates place Queen Elizabeth's private fortune in the realm of £400 to £550 million, an astronomical sum excluding the Crown estate, official jewels, and crown palaces held in trust for the nation. Within her private will lie vast estates, including Balmoral and Sandringham, encompassing tens of millions in fine land, embedded farm holdings, and luxury villages that hint at layers of hidden value. Hundreds of priceless jewels, artworks, and rare artifacts, many never fully catalogued or understood outside the palace vaults. Complex international investment portfolios threading through British equities, and shadowy offshore funds tied to architects of royal finance dating back to the mid-20th century. Personal shares and trusts inherited from the Queen Mother and Prince Philip, layered with archaic family reserves structured to evade outside scrutiny. Month by month, fragments of documents leak, cryptic, coded transaction statements, mysterious property deeds, and shell companies with ghostly royal signatures spanning Zurich, the Cayman Islands, and beyond. Investigative journalists expose phantom firms and grey legal transfers, allegedly designed to shuffle assets beyond tax authorities and political reach. Heirs at war, the battle for a legacy. In the absence of clarity, the void fills with speculative fire. Prince William is widely thought to have been positioned as the primary beneficiary, not merely inheriting prestige, but effectively centralizing control over physical and financial assets, a master plan to safeguard the monarchy's future, just as Elizabeth had envisioned. King Charles, despite his accession, reportedly inherited only the minimum protocol demands, fueling whispers of a strategic restructuring aimed at distancing his embattled branch from the dynasty's core wealth. Prince Andrew's inheritance is said to have been dramatically curtailed in the wake of public disgrace, shielded behind powerful legal barricades designed to enforce strict limits on his access. Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and their children appear to have suffered the most profound losses, offshore family trusts frozen or redirected, legal knots tightened to entrench a lasting separation. Stoic courtiers and shadow heirs loyal to the crown for decades reportedly received quiet buyouts, calculations to ensure future silence that would buy stability at a price. Some allege the will contains cryptic clauses favoring lost heirs, unacknowledged women, or distant relatives rewarded for their silence under ironclad secrecy vows. Tax-free billions and the nation's fury. Perhaps the most incendiary truth is that this mammoth private fortune passes inheritance-free, courtesy of a long-standing, royal-privileged gentleman's agreement with successive British governments. While ordinary Britons surrender up to 40% of inheritances to tax, the Windsors circumvent this levy, cycling vast wealth untaxed through generations. Against the backdrop of soaring energy costs, strained public services, and an unrelenting cost of living crisis, this secret privilege ignites widespread indignation. Campaigns demanding audits, public disclosure of royal wills, and the abolition of inherited privilege surge in strength. Several MPs have denounced this opacity as unsustainable, warning each further delay could catalyze a Republican backlash. 2025, the year of the leak. The fragile silence shattered under relentless pressure in 2025, when a torrent of leaks cascaded into public view. Pseudo-anonymous palace schedules hinting at extraordinary benefit allocations intended to stabilize loyalties. Bank statements unsigned, but unmistakably royal, showing secret transfers to foreign accounts. Memos revealing frantic palace efforts to contain rising unrest through legal mechanisms and lavish gifts. Coded sales of prime properties enacted mere days before the Queen's death. Private correspondence expressing deep fears that certain legacies could spark scandal beyond repair. In response, the palace locked down with unprecedented ruthlessness, lawyers wielding aggressive injunctions, sophisticated cybersecurity firms hunting suspects, and an atmosphere described by insiders as close to martial law. Trusted confidants suddenly vanished or were suspected exiles, their fall whispered but never explained. The palace rift widens. Within the marble corridors, fissures grow. William and Charles manage separate camps and legal teams, eyes wary, each uncertain over the other's control of wealth and the future narrative. Anne and her lesser-known royal cousins find themselves unexpectedly central, tasked with managing trusts, patronages, and the ever-turbulent politics of who stays, who goes. Charles's progressing health crisis threatens to accelerate the succession timetable, adding urgency to the inheritance battles. Harry and Meghan, distant in California, but vociferous in media, consult legal and PR experts to mount a new salvo, possibly through revelatory memoirs or exposés alleging what was diverted or stolen from their branch. The public's verdict: a monarchy on a razor's edge. Polling reveals a stark generational divide. Young Britons, grappling with austerity and a multiplicity of scandals, view a secretive royal family as an outdated symbol of entrenched inequality. Monarchists from older generations now clamor for cleansing honesty as the only means of preserving credibility. Social media saturates itself with viral hashtags, #OpenTheWill and #RoyalWealth, alongside nuanced memes and explainer videos, dissecting every snippet of leaked information. What if the truth explodes? The looming specter haunts palace halls. Could digital leaks, court challenges, or reckless insiders ultimately unveil the will's full contents? Might the surfacing of undisclosed beneficiaries ignite fresh succession disputes or lawsuits? Would revelation of shadow trusts and foreign properties expose years of denial, causing irreparable reputational damage? Could the disclosure of punitive, blacklist clauses or hush funds for palace staff shatter any remaining goodwill? Legal scholars caution that the monarchy's long-standing extraterritorial privileges and opacity may no longer withstand public or parliamentary scrutiny beyond the next generation. Politicians hint that future governments may demand full audits or dramatic reforms, open books or no books. One last secret, yet untold. Ultimately, this is not merely the account of one woman's fortune or ambition. Queen Elizabeth's secret will, its untold gifts, silences, and cryptic allocations, stands as both a symbol and a crucible of the crown's destiny. Each day the vault remains sealed, each rumor that ripples through the press, each new Windsor family fracture, drives the monarchy ever closer to its moment of reckoning. When the Queen's final secrets finally emerge from shadows, Britain may be irrevocably changed. The story is far from over. Stay tuned. Because when centuries-old legacies collide with modern transparency, the ancient house faces its most combustible, defining chapter yet, and the world will be watching every explosive revelation. If you want, I can extend this script further with rich subplots, detailed character voices, historical flashbacks, or dramatized insider testimonies to deepen its complexity and length. Just say the word.